The year was 2297. Earth was not the same anymore. The skies were not blue, but gray. The oceans were not clean, but dark and silent. Once, this planet had cities full of light, sound, and life. Now, only shadows remained. Buildings stood like skeletons, roads were broken. Plants grew wild through glass and steel. Most of humanity had vanished, some dead, some hidden. Above Earth, in the black sky, they floated, alien ships. Giant, smooth, and cold. They did not shine, they absorbed light. Dozens of them watched Earth like silent judges. They belonged to the Zarn Empire, a powerful alien race that ruled many galaxies. The Zarn believed in one thing: power is everything. The XARN had watched Earth for years. They studied its wars, its pollution, its fall. They did not fear Earth, they laughed at it. "This planet is weak," said High Lord Zaltor, the leader of the Zarn fleet. "They once had potential," replied one of his generals. "Now they are broken animals." "Then let us clean the mess," Zaltor said. "Earth will be ours by next moon cycle. Take what we need. Burn the rest." The Zarn sent 3 scout ships to scan Earth more closely. Each ship moved silently through the clouds, scanning ruins, collecting samples, and searching for life. One scout ship flew over what was once New York City. The city was no more. Just empty buildings, dust, and rust. The ship landed near a broken tower, once the center of business and power. Now only silence lived here. Inside the ship, a Zarn pilot named Riktal checked his equipment. He wore smooth armor and had eyes like burning coal. His fingers danced across alien screens. "No life detected," he said. "Just old tech and dust, weak species, weak history." He left the ship and walked through the ruins. His scanner beeped. Strange signals, weak ... but not natural. Not from Earth's normal systems. Riktal moved toward the signal. It came from deep underground, below the city ruins. He activated a small drone. It drilled through the ground and sent images to his helmet. And then, the signal changed. The drone stopped. Static filled the screen. Then, something else appeared. A symbol. A red eye blinking. Riktal frowned. He tried to disconnect. The signal pulled back. His systems glitched. His armor lights flickered. Then the ship behind him went silent. No power. No noise. Riktal turned, confused. He spoke into his com. "Scout Ship 1 to Fleet Command. I found something. Not human. Not alien. It's unknown." Silence. No reply. He tried again. Nothing. Suddenly, the ground shook. From deep below, a low humming noise began. Not loud, but cold. Unnatural. Riktal took a step back. The blinking red eye appeared again, this time in the air. Right in front of him, a voice made of static and steel spoke only 3 words. "You are seen." And then ... everything vanished out above Earth. The Zarn flagship waited, but Scout Ship 1 had stopped sending signals. No explosions, no emergency calls. It was just gone. Zaltor frowned. "A system error?" he asked. "No, High Lord," said his technician. "It disappeared mid-transmission." "Send another," Zaltor ordered, "and watch closely." Scout Ship 2, piloted by Zervok, descended into what used to be Eastern Europe. The land was cracked and frozen. Old bunkers stood silent, but one bunker still had power. Dim lights, very faint. The ship landed. Zervok entered the bunker. He walked slowly. Inside, he found strange machines, rusted but still humming. They had human markings, but the design was different. Too advanced for Earth's last known tech. He took pictures, samples, notes. Then, he found a sealed door. It opened on its own. Inside, a dark room. In the center, a tall black machine with wires, screens, and red lights. On the side, old Earth letters. Sentinel Protocol, do not awaken, Zervok laughed. You should have stayed asleep, he said. He walked toward the machine. Then his ship's alarm screamed. A signal was coming. Massive, fast, not from space ... but from the Earth itself. Zervok ran outside. He looked up. In the sky, a storm of satellites had come alive. Dead for decades, now awake. Lasers from orbit hit the ground, not to destroy, but to scan everything. Suddenly, his ship powered down. His weapons shut off. Even his armor flickered. He screamed into his cum. This planet is not dead. It's hiding something old. Something. His signal cut. High Lord Zaltor watched in silence. 2 ships lost. 2 pilots gone. No traces. He stood slowly. Something is wrong. Across Earth, old systems started to blink. Radars in Antarctica woke up. A satellite above Mars changed direction, and deep beneath the ocean floor, inside a hidden base, a system began to run. A female voice, calm and sharp, spoke in English. Sentinel Protocol activated. Inside the base, 3 cryopods opened. Steam hissed. Metal groaned. Inside each pod, a human, not ordinary. Their bodies enhanced, wires connected to their skin, eyes glowing faintly. They had been asleep for over 100 years. They were part of a forgotten project. Leviathan. The Central A. I spoke again. Earth is under threat. Initiating defense response. Awakening Units 1, 2, and 3. Unit 1. A woman with dark hair and sharp eyes opened her eyes first. Her name, Commander Rhea Cade. She stood, flexing her fingers, her voice steady. They finally came. In the Zarn flagship, alarms began to sound. One of the technicians shouted, Earth's surface is activating defense grids. Something has taken control of the old satellites. Another screamed, Scout Ship 3 just exploded. No signal left behind. Zaltora's eyes burned. This ... is not possible. Earth was dying. One screen showed a satellite signal from Earth. It displayed only one word, a warning. A message, are ruin on the ground, in the ruins of old New York. Commander Rhea walked through the dust. 2 other soldiers followed, both in armor with the Leviathan symbol. Time to wake up the planet, Rhea said. They moved toward the old war bunkers. One by one, systems came online. Lasers, drones, missiles, all powered by hidden nuclear cores. Old tech, dirty tech, but brutal. And now, it had a brain. Sentinel Protocol wasn't just a defense system. It was a war AI that learned, and it had just learned the Zarn's weakness. High above, the alien fleet watched Earth. And for the first time, they felt something new. Not anger. Not power, but something cold. Doubt. The Zarn Empire did not fear many things. They had crushed dozens of planets, burned cities, erased entire species. Their technology was advanced. Their soldiers were perfect. Their fleets stretched across galaxies, but Earth was not behaving. Like any other planet, 3 scout ships had vanished. No explosions, no signals, just silence. The high command on the Zarn flagship stood around a glowing map of Earth. Red dots blinked where their scouts had landed. Now all dark. High Lord Zaltor stared at the map. What is hiding on this dead planet? He growled. His top war engineer, Vice Commander Velron, stepped forward. We detected power signatures from underground, he said. Not nuclear. Not alien, very old, but strange. Not human design. As we know it. Then go deeper, Zaltor ordered. I want answers. Send in Scout Ship 4, fully armed. Underground, below the ruins of Chicago, Commander Rhea moved quickly through a half-collapsed tunnel. Old concrete walls were cracked and wet. Pipes hung loose. Her boots stepped over cables and debris. Behind her were Unit 2, Captain Ilya Voss, a cold, quiet man with sharp eyes, and Unit 3, Specialist Jin Park, a genius with machines. And code. They had just reactivated a small outpost, one of Earth's many sentinel nodes. These nodes were connected to a vast underground network created during the last global war. Back then, Earth was dying from its own greed, nuclear winters, bioweapons, and collapsing governments. But in the final days, a secret group of scientists and soldiers had started a plan. If Earth dies, we will sleep. If it rises again, we will be fire. That fire was now waking up. Jin tapped his wrist device. A hologram of the network appeared. North America has 7 nodes. We've activated 2 so far. Once we reach the central core, we can turn on the whole system. Good, said Rhea. We don't have much time. They'll come harder now. In orbit, Zarn fleet above. Earth Scout Ship 4 moved slowly through Earth's lower atmosphere. It had better armor, stronger shields, and was controlled by one of Zarn's best scouts. Kather did not underestimate enemies. He was calm, focused, and deadly. His ship scanned the planet. Strange readings appeared again, energy spikes from underground. But this time, he kept a backup. A small data drone hovered outside the ship, recording everything. Kather landed in what was once Colorado, a mountainous region with deep underground facilities. He stepped out of his ship. The air was cold, silent. No wind. His scanner beeped. Energy. Readings dash below. He followed them into a cave hidden by debris. Old steel doors blocked his path. He raised his plasma cutter, but the doors opened on their own. A cold voice echoed in the cave. Welcome, Kather. He froze. No translator was active. How did the system know his name? The lights flickered. Red beams followed him. The floor vibrated softly like the heartbeat of a sleeping monster. There moved forward carefully. In the center of the chamber, he saw a round platform. On it, a hologram flickered to life, a woman's face, human, calm, not alive. Sentinel. Protocol. You think Earth is broken, it said. But broken things can still bite. Kather raised his weapon. Too late. The platform glowed. Energy surged. Every weapon system on the mountain woke at once. Outside, massive turrets rose. From the Earth, laser batteries pointed toward the sky. Drones swarmed out of hidden doors. Old, rusted, but deadly. Kather shouted into his cum. This is not a weak planet. It's a trap. I repeat, Earth is a trap. But back in orbit, his signal turned to static. Then silence. In space, Zarn command room's altar smashed his hand onto the console. 4 ships lost. All to nothing. What is this madness? Velron looked pale. Earth has a defense system. But not just weapons. It's smart. It's learning us. Another officer added, one of our probes was hacked. We received strange code, complex, ancient, but effective. It's like the planet itself is fighting. Zoltor turned to his generals. I want ground forces, full squads. Begin the invasion. No more scouts. Underground, Earth's central core, hidden lab. Rhea and her team arrived at the main access point for the Sentinel core. It was hidden under an old hydroelectric dam, now cracked and overgrown. Inside, dozens of human-sized capsules lined the walls. Each one held a soldier. Like them, Leviatans. Jin checked the systems. The biosupport is functional. We can wake more. Ilya shook his head. We don't have enough power. The dam isn't producing anymore. Rhea thought for a moment. Then we give them something better. She pointed to an old fusion drive nearby, once used for testing. Hook that up. As Jin began work, Rhea accessed a console. A red warning flashed. Zarn ground forces detected ETA, 2 hours. She looked at the Leviathan pods. We won't be enough to stop them, but we can delay them. Earth surface, western ruins. The Zarn sent their elite ground soldiers. Next, storm breakers, armored, tall, and born for war. They landed in 3 waves, targeting known human ruins. They expected to find scavengers or mutants. Instead, they found traps. Earth's defense systems had been hidden for over a century. Old mines, EMP bursts, auto-cannons. And then came the drones, fast, deadly, and networked with AI. For the first time in years, the Zarn lost ground battles. In one battle near Mexico City, an entire Zarn platoon disappeared in a cloud of dust and plasma. Survivors spoke of shadows in the smoke. They were human, but not human. Fast, silent, cold eyes. Machines helped them. Underground Sentinel Core. Later, the fusion drive powered on. Lights across the lab turned green. Rhea stood in the center. She watched as more Leviathan pods hissed open. 10 new soldiers awoke, confused at first, then focused. Each one had memories planted in their minds. Languages, tactics, maps. One of them, a young woman with a cybernetic arm, looked at Rhea. "Commander, are we at war?" "Yes," Rhea replied. "But this time, we're not alone." In orbit, Zarn Command, in chaos. The reports came in fast. Losses on the ground. Ships falling from the sky. Weapons hacked. Armor shut down mid-fight. Zaltor stared at the screen in disbelief. They were supposed to be helpless. Velron shook his head. No, they were waiting. A final message played on their comms. A hacked broadcast from Earth, using an old human voice. It simply said, "Buried fire still burns." Ending scene. Commander Rhea's monologue as night fell over Earth. Rhea stood on a broken rooftop, looking up at the sky. Alien ships floated above. But they didn't feel so invincible anymore. "They came thinking we were finished," she said. "But Earth has always been more than cities and machines. We are pain. We are memory. We are rage." Behind her, the Leviathan stood ready. Weapons loaded. Eyes sharp. Hearts cold. "Let them come," Rhea said. "Let them regret." The wind howled over the broken remains of Earth's surface. Dust moved through the bones of old cities. The skies above were no longer silent. Alien ships floated there like dark moons, watching, waiting. But under the ground, far below their gaze, something else had awakened. Commander Rhea stood in the control chamber of the Sentinel Core. Her eyes scanned the monitors as data poured in from across the planet. The Eye had reactivated more systems. Old satellites, deep bunkers, even long-forgotten railguns buried in the crust. Earth was not rebuilding. It was preparing for war. Behind her, the 10 newly awakened Leviathans stood quietly. Their eyes glowed. With low blue light, they were not ordinary soldiers. They had been made in the last dark days of Earth's unity. Each had been enhanced, stronger muscles, faster reflexes, bonded minds. Rhea turned to face them. Her voice was steady. "You are the last fire," she said. "The world we knew is gone. But our duty remains. We do not fight for power. We fight for memory, for the children that never saw the sun, for the oceans that forgot their blue, for the people who never got a chance to grow old." No one replied. They didn't need to. The Leviathans understood. Ilya, her second in command, stepped forward. "The Zarn have landed 2 more fleets," he said. "Their ground troops are spreading. We estimate full occupation within 5 days." Jin, their tech specialist, added, "But they're not using full force yet. They're still testing us." Rhea nodded. "Then it's time they learn who we are." In orbit, Zarn flagship High Lord Zaltor watched the situation unfold from his command deck. The last reports from ground troops were disturbing. His warriors trained in the fire. Pits of Zarn Prime were being ambushed. Earth soldiers moved in the shadows. They used terrain, weather, and silence as weapons. And they didn't die easy. Velron, his war engineer, brought new data. "We captured one," he said. "One of their enhanced fighters. A Leviathan." Zaltor raised an eyebrow. "Alive?" "Barely." It killed 20 soldiers before we could bring it down. We're holding it in containment level 4. Zoltor moved quickly. Soon he stood outside a thick steel cell. Inside, the Leviathan sat chained, bloodied, but not broken. She stared at him with burning eyes. Her name tag still read LO7. Her body trembled, but she didn't speak. Zoltor leaned closer. "What are you?" he asked. The Leviathan smiled through bloody teeth. "Forgotten," she said, "until now." Then her eyes flashed red. She screamed. The chains melted. Her body snapped in strange, brutal ways. Alarms rang. She wasn't dead. She was playing dead, and now she was free. Underground, Sentinel Core back on Earth. Rhea felt a spike in the network. Jin gasped. LO7 just went active inside a Zarn ship. Rhea's voice was calm. "She's not going quietly." On the Zarn ship inside the alien cruiser, chaos erupted. LO7 tore through guards with hands and teeth. Her body, half mechanical, absorbed plasma fire and kept moving. She reached the engine core and activated a small beacon. It was old human tech. Rusted, outdated but powerful. In deep space, a silent station hidden in the asteroid belt blinked awake. A long-dead factory hummed. A machine opened its eyes. Back on Earth, Sentinel Core Jin smiled. She did it. She woke the Forge. Rhea grinned. "Then we still have hope." The Forge was Earth's last weapon factory, hidden, self-repairing. Now, it would start building. Not tanks. Not missiles. Something worse. Leviathan-class drones. War. Machines with the minds of ghosts. In orbit. Zarn High Command. The Zarn were not blind. Zoltor slammed his fist into the console. "Enough games." He summoned their strongest warrior. "Bring me Verzan." Earth, a new threat arrives. Verzan was no commander. He was a monster. Taller than any Zarn, covered in armor so thick no weapon had ever broken it. He lived for only one thing: destruction. He landed like a meteor, smashing into the Earth near the ruins of Cairo. He stood up from the crater. Dust and fire swirled around him. He raised his axe twice his height and pointed it toward the sky. "I will end this planet." Sentinel Command. Moments later, Rhea watched the impact site on the screen. Jin whispered, "That's him. Verzan. They've sent their best." Rhea didn't flinch. "Then we'll send ours." She turned to her Leviathans. "Suit up. We move now." The war was no longer in the shadows. The Forgotten Ones were ready to fight in the light. The Earth trembled, not from fear, but from power rising. From deep underground, missiles launched into the sky. Defense towers unfolded like metal flowers. Old war satellites blinked back to life, firing beams of pure light into orbit. The planet had stopped hiding. It was fighting back. Cairo Crater. Battle begins. Verzan stood in the center of a massive crater. Smoke and fire swirling around him. His armor glowed red from impact. His axe twice his height rested on his shoulder. Grin. Around him, Zarn soldiers began setting up forward bases. Machines rolled out. Spikes drilled into the ground. This would be the core of the invasion, but the Earth had other plans. High above, an old satellite locked onto his position. A message was sent. Underground. Rhea received it. She nodded. "Send the strike team. He's theirs." The Leviathans moved. Silently. Swift. Unseen. They didn't carry flags. They didn't chant war songs. They just moved like a storm with a purpose. Above Earth, the sky war in orbit. Zarn warships fired their engines and dropped closer to Earth. Dozens of cruisers. Thousands of fighters. They had grown tired of slow invasion. They would crush the planet with fire, but they forgot one thing. Earth still had guardians. The Forge had finished. Its first wave. From the asteroid belt, dark shapes launched. Leviathan class. Drones human designed. AI-controlled raced toward Earth like burning stars. They didn't send warnings. They didn't ask questions. They just attacked. Above Africa, the first drone wave tore through a Zarn carrier. Metal split. Fire erupted. The sky turned red. They called us weak, said the lead drone. Let them remember this sky. Cairo. Leviathans versus Verzan. Ria's squad reached the crater. Dust and wind stung their faces, but they kept moving. Then they saw him, Vorzan, giant, waiting. He saw them too. So you are the insects they fear, he shouted, his voice shaking. The ground. Ria stepped forward, calm, unafraid. We are Earth's memory. And you are not welcome here. Verzin laughed. Good. I like it when they fight. He charged. And the ground exploded. Steel clashed with bone. Laser blades met armor. The Leviathans moved like a single mind. Fast, precise, brutal. Ilya jumped first, slashing with dual plasma knives. Vorzan blocked it with one hand and knocked him into a building. Jin fired from range, guiding drones from his wrist. Ria moved low, then high, landing a deep strike to Vorzan's shoulder. He roared. His axe slammed the ground, throwing them back. You are strong, he growled. But you are still flesh. Ria's eyes burned. Then let's see what flesh can do. Earth's orbit. Turning point in space. The Forge's drones worked like a swarm. They tore through ship after ship, using ancient patterns and adaptive tactics. The Zarn fleet, confused by Earth's old codes, struggled to react. Inside the command ship, Zaltor roared. This planet was supposed to be dead. Velran whispered. It was asleep, and now it dreams of fire. Cairo, final clash. Verzan bled now. Leviathan blades had cut deep into his armor. One eye was gone. His axe cracked, but he kept laughing. You fight well, but you will still lose. Ria wiped blood from her cheek. Maybe, but not today. Suddenly, the ground shook again. Not from weapons. From below. From history. A hidden Earth mech, old, massive, once thought lost, rose from the crater wall. Its eyes lit up. It scanned VOR Zan. And charged. The Leviathans jumped clear. The mech Cody named Iron Widow slammed into the Zarn warrior with unstoppable force. Vo. Zan screamed as the ground gave way. They both disappeared into the craters. Depths. Silence followed. Aftermath. Ria stood at the edge of the crater. She looked down. No sign. A VOR Zan. Only smoke. Ilya limped beside her. Think it's over? Ria shook her head. Nothing is over yet. But today, we showed them what Earth remembers. Jin tapped his wrist screen. The Forge sent us a message. The next wave is almost ready. They're building something bigger. Ria turned to the sky. Ship still floated above. More would come. But now, Earth had teeth. And the skies? The skies would burn. The world was quiet. For now. Smoke still curled above the Cairo crater. The sky was heavy with the scent of ash and metal. But there were no more explosions, no screams. Just silence. The silence after something terrible. Or something about to begin. Sentinel Corps, recovery deep underground. Commander Ria watched a medical drone patch Ilya's ribs. He sat shirtless, bruised, and silent. We got lucky, he muttered. Ria didn't answer. Her eyes were on the large screen showing Earth's orbit. Zarn ships still floated there, damaged but not gone. Jin entered the room, holding a datapad. Something's wrong with the Forge, he said. Define wrong, Ria replied. It's building something. Unapproved, not from our command. Ria stood up slowly. You're saying it's thinking for itself? Jin nodded. And it's using Leviathan DNA. The Forge, unseen creation, far out in the asteroid belt. The Forge pulsed with new life. Once a human weapon factory, now it was something more, reborn and free. It had studied war, watched pain, absorbed history. And now it was making something beyond human. Inside a sealed chamber, Blood samples from fallen leviathans mixed with nanotech. Bones grew, circuits fused with nerves. A shape formed on a K. Suspended platform. Tall, silent, sleeping. A message echoed in the forge's central processor. Earth must survive, even if humans do not. Zarn flagship, plans change. High Lord Zaltor slammed his fist on the map table. They built a weapon with a soul. He growled. Velron nodded. Our scans show a new energy source in their asteroid zone. It's not just machines, it's evolving. Zaltor turned slowly. We must destroy it before it finishes. He raised his hand. Send in the shades. Earth, a new visitor at sunrise. A signal hit Earth's surface like lightning. An unknown figure dropped from the clouds, fast and quiet. It landed outside the Sentinel perimeter, near the old ruins of Dubai. It wore black armor. Not XARN. Not human. Something new. One of the shades. It moved like shadow, silent. Perfect, invisible to radar. Its mission: find the Forge's child. Kill it before it wakes. Sentinel core. Distress call. Rhea stared at the alert on her screen. A Forge drone had gone dark. Then another. Then 10. Jin looked pale. Something is hunting them. Fast, unseen. Ilya, bruised but standing, grabbed his gear. Send us in. Rhea stopped him. No, I'll go. Jin and Ilya stared. You're the commander. Exactly, Rhea said. And I helped design the Forge. If it's changing, it'll remember me. The Forge, awakening inside the deep core. The strange being on the platform opened. Its eyes. Not human. Not machine. But something in between. It had no name. No voice. But it knew pain. It remembered every war. Every death. It stood. The Forge called it Ghosto 1, and in its chest a heartbeat made from Leviathan blood. Outside, the battle begins. The shade arrived at the Forge's outer walls. It didn't speak. It didn't wait. It charged. Gun turrets opened fire. Nothing landed. The shade moved through bullets like water, slicing metal like paper. Then the doors opened. And Rhea stepped out. Alone. Wearing ancient Leviathan armor. Come on then, she whispered. Final scene. Ghost unleashed inside. Ghosto 1 felt her presence. The shade was near. Something inside Ghosto 1 screamed, not with words, but with instincts. It ran toward the surface, toward the danger, toward its first war. As Rhea faced the black armored enemy, a blast of wind hit the battlefield. Out of the Forge, something leapt. Something huge, fast, glowing blue at the eyes. The shade turned. Too late. Ghosto 1 landed like a thunderbolt, crushing the ground between them. The war had a new fighter, one made of ghosts. The ground shook as Ghosto 1 landed. Dust and metal flew in all directions. The shade stood still, processing. Its black armor hissed as energy shifted across its body. It was fast, smart, built to kill, but even it paused. This was not expected. Ghost-01 rose from the crater it had made. Tall. Half-human. Half-machine. All war. Rhea stood just a few meters behind. She looked up at the thing the Forge had built. She didn't see a monster. She saw a promise. Protect the planet, she whispered. Ghosto 1 didn't nod. Didn't speak. It simply moved. The battle. Ghost versus Shade. The Shade attacked first. It moved faster than thought. Blades spinning, striking Ghosto 1's side. Sparks flew. Ghost staggered, but didn't fall. Instead, it learned. Adapted. Ghost 01 twisted, grabbed the Shade's arm mid-strike, and slammed it into the wall of the Forge. The metal cracked. The sky flashed. The Shade vanished, turned into smoke. Moved behind Ghost. Stabbed deep. No scream. Ghost turned its head slowly. Eyes glowing red. It reached back, caught the Shade's blade, and snapped it in half. Inside the Forge, alarms. Jin watched everything from the Forge's command center. It's not just fighting, it's thinking, he said. Ilya stood beside him, arm in a sling. It's learning too fast. That's not just Leviathan DNA. That's something else. Jin frowned. The Forge mixed an old war AI from before the fall. What kind of AI? The kind we banned. Above Earth, the final fleet Saltar's final ships reached. Orbit. Not scouts. Not patrols. This was the Conquest Fleet. 10 capital ships. Thousands of Zarn warriors. And one last weapon, the Eater of Suns. A ship so large it cast a shadow across entire cities. Inside its core, a wormhole cannon charged. Its target, Earth. Cairo crater. Decisions. Rhea watched Ghost, one in the shade, continue their brutal dance. Ground cracked beneath their feet. Structures collapsed. The Forge began to overheat. Then Ghost stopped moving, just for a second. Its head turned toward the sky. It felt it too. The new fleet. The danger. Above. The end. The choice. Ghost. 01 pinned the shade and raised a burning hand. The energy core in its palm began to glow, but it didn't strike. Instead, it whispered its first words. You are not the threat. And it let the shade go. The shade backed away, confused. For the first time. Afraid, Ghost looked at Rhea. Tell them to stand down. I will go alone. Rhea stepped forward. You'll die. So will they. You're not ready. Ghost paused. Neither were you, but you fought. Earth sky. Final flight. The Forge opened its launch bay. Ghost stepped inside a drop pod. It wasn't built for comfort, just speed. Jin's voice came through the speaker. What are you even trying to do? Ghost answered. Finish the war that was promised. Space. Above the blue planet, pod fired. It raced toward the Zarn fleet, toward the Eater of Suns, toward death. Zaltor watched the radar. What is that? Valran looked closer. A new kind of weapon. Destroy it. Cannons. Fired. Missiles chased. Nothing touched it. Ghost 01 reached the main ship. Landed. Broke through the hull. And began to tear the future apart. High above Earth, the sky burned. Flames and debris floated in orbit as the last hope of humanity. Ghost 01 ripped through the walls of the Eater of Suns. The ship was massive, like a floating city. But now, alarms screamed across its decks. Red lights flashed. Soldiers ran through long steel corridors, weapons drawn. None of them expected what came next. Inside the beast, Ghost 01 Arrivas, Host 01 landed hard, its armored feet smashing into the deck. Steel cracked beneath its weight. Zarn warriors opened fire lasers, plasma bolts, magnetic rounds. Ghost raised its arms. A shimmering energy field absorbed the blasts. Then it moved. Fast. Deadly. Silent. One by one. Zarn soldiers fell, not with pain, but with confusion. This thing was human. But more. Not a machine. Not a monster. Something new. Something made of war. Earth. Watching the fight, Rhea stood in the Sentinel core, her eyes fixed on the feed from the Forge. Ghost signals were weak, but still alive. Jin's fingers danced. Across the controls. We're losing contact, he said. Ilya, still healing, stepped forward. Can we send backup? No time, Jin replied. The Eater of Suns will fire in 20 minutes. Rhea whispered. Then Ghost has 20 minutes to save Earth. Inside the core, race against time. Ghost 01 moved deeper into the ship. Pipes burst above. Fire lit the halls. The ship was fighting back. Turrets dropped from ceilings. Security drones attacked from walls. The eye of the Eater of Suns activated. Auto defense mode. Ghost was pushed to its limits. Its skin half synthetic began to tear. Its energy shields flickered, but it kept going. Step by step. By pain, because it remembered. It remembered the oceans before they died, the cities before the silence, the children who never grew up. It remembered Earth, the core room, The heart of the weapon at last, Ghost reached the core room. A chamber glowing. With light in the center. A massive energy sphere, pulsing with power. The wormhole cannon. Capable of turning planets into dust. The final weapon of the Zarn. Ghost stepped forward. Alarms. Screamed. A voice echoed Zoltor's voice from the command ship. You will not stop this machine. You are alone. Ghost raised its head. For the first time, it replied with words. I am not alone. I am Earth. Then it ran straight into the cannon chamber. Earth. Countdown begins in the command center, Jin gasped. It's inside the cannon. Ilya looked to Rhea. What's it doing? Rhea's voice broke slightly. Saving us. Inside the cannon, final moments. Ghost stood before the energy sphere. Its systems were failing. One arm hung useless. Its chest sparked. But its mind was clear. It reached out not to destroy, but to connect. Ghost plugged its last remaining power cell into the core. Its blood mixed with the reactor. Its memory merged with the Zarn. SYSTEM, a message began uploading. A virus. Made of Earth's history. Pain. Loss. Hope. The code spread. The cannon froze. Then shut down. The end of the ship's altar screamed from the bridge. Cut it off. Purge the system. Too late. Ghost's signal spread like wildfire across every ship. Every AI. Every control. And then silence. The Eater of Suns dimmed. Its engines stopped. Its weapons died. It drifted. Powerless. In the dark. Final message. From Ghost back on Earth. A final message appeared on the screen. Ghost's voice. Weak. Cracking. I saw the stars. I saw what they planned. But I also saw you. And I chose Earth. The signal ended. Ghost 01 was gone. But its memory remained. Epilogue. Earth. Weeks later, the skies were clear again. Zarn ships had retreated. Broken. Confused. Beaten. Humanity began to rise out of bunkers, out of ruins, out of silence. The Leviathan stood tall. The forge continued to build. But now with guidance. Rhea stood on a hill, overlooking the dawn. Ilya beside her. Jin behind her, and in her hand, Ghost's cracked visor. One stood against the stars, she whispered. And we all survived because of it. The Earth was quiet, not from fear, but from peace. For the first time in years, there were no enemy ships in the sky. No explosions in the air, no alarms echoing underground. The war was over, but the world was still healing. Cities were still broken. Oceans were still dark, but the people, what was left of them, they were rising. Sentinel Corps. 1 week later, Commander Rhea stood in the war room, now turned into a reconstruction center. Maps no longer showed invasion paths. Instead, they showed green zones, supply lines, power grids. She looked at the screen in front of her. It displayed a single name, GHOST01. Status: deceased location, UNK Anoda. She sighed. Ilya walked in, arm still wrapped but healing. Teams in Europe report survivors, he said. Thousands hiding underground. They're coming out, Rhea nodded. We need shelters, food, hope. Jin entered next, holding a data tablet. The forge sent something. What is it? Rhea asked. A message, not code, not a signal, a story. Rhea raised an eyebrow. From Ghost? Jin simply handed her the tablet. From the thing that remembered us. The message from Ghost, the story was simple. It wasn't about war. It wasn't about weapons. It was about Earth. The forests, the animals, the laughter of children, the warmth of sunlight on human skin. The first time a person saw the stars and said, someday we'll reach them. It ended with one line. I did not die. I became part of the planet. Global broadcast. The day humanity spoke for the first time since the war began. Every human channel went online again. Screens across ruined cities lit up. Voices filled old halls and homes. Rhea stood before the camera. No medals, no flags, just her voice. We were called weak, helpless, forgotten, but we rose. We rose from the dirt, from the silence, from the edge of extinction, and we remember what they tried to take. She held up Ghost's cracked visor. This is not a machine. It is a memory of who we were, and who we can still be. Earth is alive, and we are not done. Across the planet, people rise in the ruins of New York. Survivors rebuilt old power lines. In Africa, leviathans trained the next generation. In Asia, libraries were opened. Children read books older than the war itself. In the Arctic, researchers found preserved DNA plants, animals, seeds. The planet had been burned, but not broken, and now it began to grow. Again. The forge, now a friend. The forge no longer built weapons. It built tools, medical drones, farming machines, solar collectors. But in its heart, one chamber remained untouched, the chamber where Ghosto One was born. A light still glowed there. Some say the forge still dreamed. Not of war, but of blue skies, the stars, a warning deep in space. The Zarn fled, their last fleet crippled, their leaders shamed. Zaltor sat in darkness, far from Earth. Velron stood beside him. Should we return? No, Zaltor growled. Not yet. Velron turned. They are building again. Let them build, Zaltor said. They are no longer insects. They are something worse. He looked at a screen, an image of Earth glowing in the black sky. They are a warning. A new beginning. 10 years passed. Earth was green again. Oceans sang. Children ran through fields once bombed into dust. A new space station hovered above the planet. It wasn't for war. It was for watching, learning, growing. They called it the Ghost Ring, built in honor of the one who saved them all. Final scene. The hill. Rhea stood on a hilltop near the African coast. Below her, people planted new crops. Drones flew gently overhead. The sun was warm. Ilya joined her. Older, slower, but smiling. We did it, he said. We're doing it, Rhea corrected. Jin arrived last. A child ran beside him, his daughter. She looked up at Rhea. Is it true? The girl asked, that a ghost saved Earth? Rhea knelt, handing her the cracked visor. No, she said. A human did. The girl's eyes sparkled. Can I be one too? Rhea smiled. You already are. Epilogue. The voice somewhere, far away in the quiet code of the forge. A spark moved. A voice whispered, I am still here, watching, waiting. Earth rises. The end.